Gonna do hoof juice or intro. Yeah, here it is. We got to get our faces up here. Some camera.
Ooh.
Some camera. We
Not
got to get
that
the
way.
right camera going. We're here. We got viewers already lined up. We told you this was coming at 2 o'clock. And look at us. Here we are. I'm Eric. I'm a novelist. I eat carnivore. And I'm wearing my red glasses today.
Oh, you are.
Yep. Well, we had the request a couple of times back, and I'm like, well, I'll wear them until I get sick of them.
All right. I'm JJ. I'm a life coach. I eat mostly meat. I have not had any salads.
Salads.
That was a combo of Allen and salads.
Yep.
I've not had any salads lately. So that's been good. I'm not off them forever, but I've been able to choose other things wherever I've eaten out. But hello, yes, we are here for our Friday live and almost missed the timing because Eric was kind of going through our material and getting on a rant.
Yeah, I wasted my rant. All of my rant energy I wasted before we went live. So welcome from wherever you're at in the world or outside of the world. And it's a beautiful, cold November 8th here in Wisconsin. Let us know in the comments where you're from, unless we know where you're from already.
Now you've been out on the land.
I've been out on the land doing work on my tractor. I've been mowing some, the wildflower field is dead. So now I'm mowing it down so that next year it will come back strong. And, I keep clicking the wrong thing. And yeah, trying to not be on the sofa scrolling on X incessantly. I had a lot of that on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Actually, Monday, you sort of abducted me and were like, we're doing things because I need to stay off the computer. And so I need you to keep me distracted. And so we did a lot of moving that day. We moved our daughter's, some of her bedroom stuff over to the new house. She's still in college, so she hasn't been here yet. So we did that. But then I had a phone call that night, sort of a work call, and I came out and there you were. On X.
I was mainlining election coverage, pre-coverage, like an addict.
This is not new. He's done this at election time since I've known you.
Me, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I don't consider myself a political junkie. I consider myself a drama junkie. But it's not good for my health.
No, it is not good for your health.
It gets my adrenaline all fired up.
It does. It does.
But I ate carnivore.
Yes, you stayed.
I wanted some carby things, but I didn't have them.
You told me many times, which was fine. And you stayed the course. So that was pretty amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, let's say hi to Natalie Rice. Nice red glasses.
Hello, Natalie.
Yeah, these are my Warby Parkers. I love them because they're I just get the same frame every single time.
He's not a minimalist dresser. He just wears black most of the time. A good chunk of the time, black, gray, some blue.
Yeah.
But his glasses often have a pop of color or a certain style, or your shoes. Yeah. You used to be the red shoe person.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of red shoes.
And so yeah, you usually put a little pop somewhere.
Annette says, hi guys. Hi Annette. I'm glad you could join us. You know, we start on a later in the afternoon here, so you're awake. So a chill live today? Yeah, it's chill outside and I'm feeling relatively chill. I mean,
you got your rant over
I'm
with.
never really that chill. I can be subdued. I can be introspective, but inside I'm a bubbling cauldron of anxiety almost all the time. So we have some comments from earlier videos that I wanted to look at, as we do. This one was about our Why Carnivore, the life-changing benefits. This is our last video, which has really good fundamental statistics, and YouTube is not showing it to anyone yet.
That's been our story the last few Fridays.
It happens.
It's been a little bit of a
In case you
lull.
didn't know, there's very newsy week. And so we're competing not with other carnivore content, but with just the world in general. I agree with all the benefits you talked about. Also, my husband lost a lot of weight. He's off his blood pressure meds, off his CPAP machine. He's stopped snoring, and he's busy reversing his diabetes. And then as a footnote, my MS is in remission and I'm feeling positive. It's like, that's a sensational testimony for a carnivore diet. And this is the thing. We just need more stories like this, and it spreads because people just want to feel good and not have to be on all their medicines all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And just even getting into sorry, I didn't mean to smack you, getting into the mental mode of going, wait a minute, if I'm feeling poorly, the answer isn't necessarily to add a chemical to my body. It's maybe I should look at the root causes and begin understanding, like, why do I feel like crap? You had a friend who was over here visiting and was having some issues, and everything they said was about the doctor was going to give them some painkiller medication.
Mm-hmm.
And never once in their worldview or their frame of how they understood their own health did they go, this has a cause that maybe I can change.
No.
And I was the same way. So I understand it. It's not a criticism. It's just when you wake up and you realize that diet is such a huge, huge component of how you feel, you just want to start shouting it from the rooftops. But instead of that, because I'm kind of afraid of heights, I do it on YouTube.
Well, and I've heard some of the doctors in the carnivore sphere talking about, how you just said it's our culture right now to think that we have to add something, add a supplement, add a medication, add something to relieve the issue. And they said, not only what you said, diet, but maybe you should think about what you need to take away. What is in your diet poisoning you?
Yeah. I think that's the first thing. If you're not feeling well, what do you need to stop?
Yeah.
Let's look at the next one. This was in our list. Also a lack of body odor and no bug bites. This one is interesting to me because I think the BO issue is true with being carnivore, but the bug bite ones, I'm not sure. We just haven't had bad mosquito seasons recently.
We have not.
To really test it.
No, we have not. We've had the last 3 years have been pretty low.
They still bite me
I
occasionally.
can tell you, we still get tick bites.
Yeah, the ticks love those carnivores. They have no concern about that.
The ticks are here, and we've had low mosquito seasons, high tick seasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would love it if I get no more tick bites. So.
Man, I hear you. Back in the day when I was Whole Foods plant-based, the green smoothies were big. Bales of kale. Well said. I remember my husband would say, hey, this fridge is so packed, I can't tell what's in here. And he was right. I had bags of kale, spinach, Swiss chard, dandelion greens, and so much more. What a pain that was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was true because the refrigerator was never big enough to pack all of the green smoothie material. And of course, that was pretty much all I ate back then.
And I would get so ticked off because the fridge would be packed, which is fine. But then you'd open up that spinach and you'd be like, I can smell it's off.
Oh, yeah.
And so the whole thing would either just get shoved into the fridge again till it went off even more or thrown away.
Yeah. It would.
And you were right. Yeah. I mean, it was off, but you just open it. You would not even sometimes eat any. You'd open it up and be like, this is off.
sometimes if I bought the pre-washed stuff in the plastic bin, that was, why are we talking about it? Nobody wants to eat that or think about it. Why are you avoiding egg whites? Was a question on my cooking video.
Yes, you did a breakfast.
Yeah, my steak and eggs.
Sunday breakfast.
And the reason I was avoiding egg whites, I didn't explain, which is the egg whites are protein, and there's plenty of protein in this steak, and I wanted to have a better fat to protein ratio, so I ate the yolks and not the whites.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of critics say I should have cooked them up for the dogs.
One.
And I have done that occasionally, but so many egg whites, and he just can't be eating all those. He's just one little dog.
He does not. Yeah, he does not need that many. Now the other dog would have been over the egg.
He would have, but it wouldn't have necessarily been what he needed.
No.
My chili pepper finally get to watch this podcast. That's interesting, Alon. I don't think of us as a podcast, but in a way we kind of are, because we're just sitting here with microphones like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I even have his hairdo most of the time. I'm mad too. For years, I thought oatmeal was heart healthy for breakfast. Nope. Bunch of lies.
Mm-hmm.
Now I tell myself, don't get mad. Get ribeyes instead. This is a response to an old video where I did the furious rant, a clickbait in the title. It wasn't that furious.
That I don't think. Yeah, that one was not. I think it was the case where you ranted before we got on camera again.
Yeah. And now, a question: can I rant?
Oh yes, you can rant.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's wait. Let's hold off on the articles.
Sounds like a good plan.
Just maybe we don't even need them. We'll just see. Let me get back to our camera view here. All right, we are back. Keisha, hi Keisha. Are you going to make a video about getting off your SSRI? I have a video about that, but I've been thinking about redoing it.
Oh, really?
But I haven't made a decision on that because I'm not sure totally the angle that I want to pursue. But the short version is I was on SSRI for 1.5 or 2 years. It worked great for my specific issue. I started Carnivore, and then I did a taper protocol. I had very mild withdrawal side effects, and after my last dose, I basically felt the same as when I had been on it. And so that was a testimony to me that Carnivore was lifting a lot of the heavy weight that the SSRI was helping me carry. And that was good. More recently, I've had a lot of the anxiety return, and I've been trying to turn different dials of more fat, trying to get ketones up, and look with ever more scrutiny at other things in my diet. But I also know that it's been a very tense, anxious time with the move, the dog dying, the election, and other issues in life. So that could be a contributing factor. But I'm not back on it.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Love y'all, by the way. I'm getting my car fixed as I watch. Well, I hope that they fix it correctly, swiftly, and cheaply. But basically, you have to choose 2 of those things. Bree, who, by the way, commented somewhere that you had made JJ's Chuck chili.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you said it was Bree-licious. So speaking of drama politics, curious minds want to know, are you guys happy or disheartened by the turnout of the election, if you care to say? Well, I will speak for myself and say that I am happy that the result was clear and decisive. And that was probably my biggest concern going in, was that it would be murky.
I've been telling my friend that I lunch with for months. I've been like, I don't know. Whichever side I don't know what's going to happen with the fallout, no matter which side wins. So I too am very glad it was.
I think all year I've been worried about the ambiguity in the result.
Yes, definitely.
Courtney says, hey. Well, hey. Right back at you. Natalie, by the way, I hope you saw our belated happy birthday to you in our last video. Did you see Sean Baker's post that the Biden administration has plans to push plant proteins as more nutritious than animal protein? I did see that, and I'm not particularly surprised. I mean, it's conventional wisdom, with my air quotes, that you should be eating whole foods, plant-based, right? I mean, that's all of the phytonutrients and all that crap is all that healthi crap is in that. But yeah, I'm not shocked that that would be advocated. Hi, Remington. Let's see. JH was just about to secretly gorge on some cereal my wife was hiding in the kitchen cabinet, but the podcast suddenly came on and I felt some profound shame. Thanks.
Well, we're not out, excuse me, we're not out to shame you, but if we can help you stay committed to your health, that's great.
Absolutely. I mean, this is one of those things where I know where the kind bars are that my daughter will eat when she gets back from school. And there was a time where those would have not escaped my mouth. But where I'm at right now is there is no way they're going in my mouth. And I think it's because, I mean, look at me. Look at this scruffy face hiding how gaunt I am from my weight loss. No, it's just, there is no way I'm going back to that. But you should not feel profound shame. You should feel profound pride that you resisted.
Yes. Yes.
That is a huge win.
That is a big win. Which leads me a little bit into some of the things I've been seeing on YouTube lately. I've seen some flexibility in the carnivore world, because I feel like when I started 2 years ago, the messaging was very clear from the people I was following: just eat the animals, eat the animals, eat the animals. Period. That sounds bad, doesn't it? But I just heard Bella, Steak and Butter Gal, her most recent video was about how she has been able to add in cheese. And she's talked about kefir for a while. She does both of them raw. They are still animal products. But I'm really pleased with this video because she's very careful to say she's 5-6 years into her journey, something like that. And she's like, I could not eat these until now. Now I feel, one, that I'm healed enough to be able to eat the cheese and the kefir. And number two, she's doing much more activity, physical exercise, weight training. And so she feels like she actually needs that dairy because she can't right now eat enough to support her physical gains. So she's going
to go full Saladino pretty soon.
I doubt that. But okay, here's a couple other things. I was listening to Dr. Elizabeth, both of us today, Dr. Elizabeth Bright's interview on the Primal podcast with Rena. And she admitted to eating ice cream maybe once a month.
Oh, yes. I heard this.
And maybe when she's in France, she'll have a croissant. And, but again, she's really clear to say that she is not hormonally deranged. My wording, not hers. She's like, I don't have any healing. I'm healthy. And again, it's not a daily, because she really does talk about plants being poison all the time. So she's like, she's not regularly poisoning herself with these things.
Well, when I heard her talk about the ice cream, it was like when she had a grandchild over who wanted ice cream, she wasn't going to deny it, and she wasn't going to just watch him eat it without it. But she was like, I just bounced right back into ketosis.
Yeah.
Within, I skip a meal, or not a skip a meal, but she did something like she had an adjustment she would make, and she'd be right back in ketosis and eating high fat. But that's, it doesn't take her off the rails either.
Right. Yeah. Neither one of these is being taken off the rails.
And,
But
and to be fair, the wheat in the croissant in France is probably not as awful as the wheat in a croissant here.
that is very true. That is very true.
Because it's not probably chock full of glyphosate.
Now, for me, as you know, with my eating salads every week, I don't have a problem with that if you can handle it. If your body can handle a little variability, that's fine. And again, like you said, as long as it doesn't take you off the rails, because I do understand that some people do have that sweetness addiction, for instance, where it will completely take them off the rails.
Yeah. Okay.
So you were also talking, I've got one more.
Okay.
Now, Nick Norowitz, I don't consider him just carnivore, so he's not that. But he had something interesting in one of his recent videos that he gets back into very, very deep ketosis, and he knew this is controversial, by eating tahini.
What's that made out of?
Sesame seeds.
So it's a sesame seed butter?
It is a sesame seed butter. And he said that if he eats 3 to 4 tablespoons of tahini before a 24-hour fast, it gets him very deep, like 6 millimoles.
Wow.
Yeah, very deep. And he's not, and he explains it a little bit. I can't quite follow everything he
It's because he talks at 3x. I have to put him on like half speed to be able to understand him.
But yeah, he explains it. And this is in the video where he is explaining ketosis, where I still didn't quite understand ketosis. But it's a good video. I've watched it twice. I may have to watch it a few more times. But the tahini was interesting to me because I'm in this place right now for the past several months where I've said I'm kind of chasing ketones. I'm kind of in this game right now for higher ketones and lower blood sugar. And I've met most of my health goals in general. My biggest goal with this lifestyle, this way of eating, is improved mood and energy right now. And so I'm kind of going, tahini, huh? Interesting.
You can do an N of 1.
Yeah, I probably will. I probably
and see what
will.
happens.
Oh, which reminds me too, fasting. I have been fasting for the most part 2 days a week for the last few weeks. I can't remember, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Again, with this aim of getting my blood sugar lower, getting my ketones higher, having better mood and energy. And I didn't do it this week. I did not do both days. I did my Sunday fast. It's supposed to be Sundays, Thursdays. Well, our Tuesday schedule got screwy. So I had to switch my lunch with my friend to Thursday, which is normally a fast day, Sundays and Thursdays. So I was like, no problem. I will fast Wednesday instead. And that was only 2 days between that fast and the previous fast, and 2 days between that fast and the previous fast. And Wednesday came along, and by noon, I was white knuckle starving, hungry. And I know, and I even waited. You like went on an errand or something, and I was like, I may eat. I don't know. I'm going to see if this passes. It was not passing. I waited a good hour or two, did not pass, broke my fast. So I had about a 22-hour fast that day. So yeah, it did not happen this week where I did the 2 days of fasting.
You made the right decision.
Oh yeah, I think I did. And I'm going to jump right back on the horse on Sunday, and I plan to fast on Sunday and see how that goes. And then, try to do Thursday again next week. We will see. But yeah, I was really, really hungry. And it was interesting because I was hungry. What day is today? Today's Friday. We're on live. So yeah, I was really hungry on Wednesday, but then yesterday I wasn't. I skipped dinner yesterday, remember?
Yeah.
I had one meal and was like, I'm kind of done. So yeah, interesting. But again, doing what's sustainable for me and really trying to listen to my physical cues and not just be completely dogmatic about it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this. So in Delish, I saw this headline. The, quote, animal-based diet is trending on TikTok, but what do dietitians think? Fans of the meat-heavy diet say it's the new keto. I didn't click on it. I was like, what do dietitians think? I could not care less. Newsweek, heart surgeon on his 95% carnivore diet. You don't have to fear red meat. And I was like, I know who this is. This is Dr. Ovadia. And sure enough, it was.
It was.
Coming from a heart surgeon, the biggest misconception is that red meat is harmful for you, your health, said Ovadia. And then it goes on to say heart disease is a leading cause of death. The traditional view is that foods high in saturated fat, such as red meat, elevate cholesterol, which leads to sticky plaques, blah, 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 blah. The American Heart Association says eating too much saturated fat raises LDL, and LDL increases your risk for heart disease, blah, 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 blah. And then the recommendation. The CDC says eating lots of foods high in saturated fat and trans fat may contribute to heart disease. What? Saturated fat and trans fat. Hello, those are not the same fat. So you don't want to combine those. But Ovadia told Newsweek that this was simply not true. What's simply not true? The trans fat thing?
Oh.
And based on, quote, poor science that was misinterpreted and over-promoted. Well, us carnivores would tend to agree with that, but he's still just making an assertion. There's no evidence in this. But then it goes on to interview their dietitian friend. Although short-term benefits might be reported, the high intake of red meat and lack of carbohydrates in a carnivore diet are concerning for long-term heart health and gut health.
Now, why? I just think it's interesting, the lack of carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are not essential.
It's just an assertion.
Yeah.
There's no evidence here either. A more balanced, varied diet, including lean proteins with fresh red meat featured around twice a week, heart-healthy fats, and fiber from plant foods is better supported by evidence for cardiovascular protection, or so you say, but there is no evidence anywhere in the article for either view. This article from Newsweek, like Newsweek itself, is useless. There's no information actually in it.
Yeah.
UCSF has this study, how the keto diet could one day treat autoimmune disorders. One day. And you know how they got this idea? That it might calm an overactive immune system and help some people with diseases like multiple sclerosis. You know what? You could have asked the person in our comments who just said it's in remission because they're a carnivore. You didn't need to do this mouse study. This is already known. This isn't useful at all. Here's one. The keto diet shows promise for epileptic seizure reduction. Oh, I wish that we had known that 100 years ago. Oh, wait.
We did.
Am I being a little too cheeky?
I don't know.
Am I too ranty?
I don't know. You brought the rant back.
I don't know. I'm getting amped up. Maybe the anxiety is alchemizing into rage. Could happen. It's been known to happen before. Let's see. The keto diet may raise bad LDL cholesterol, reduce good gut bacteria. This in Healthline. This is reported on a study. Compared the keto diet with a diet low in added sugars and found that both diets reduce fat mass compared to a control diet. However, the keto diet was associated with negative metabolic changes such as raised bad cholesterol and changes in the gut microbiome. The diet low in added sugars was not linked to negative health outcomes. Well, neither was the keto one. They moved the goalpost. And they said this isn't associated with negative health outcomes. So what they're saying is raising bad LDL cholesterol is a health outcome.
Yes.
Changes in the gut microbiome are a health outcome. They're not health outcomes. They're just markers. Anyway, this was the section that caught my eye the most. Keto diet impairs glucose tolerance. And it goes and says down here, participants had a reduced glucose tolerance. They did a glucose tolerance test. And that's where you give them a big dose of sugar and then follow blood sugar and insulin response after it. Well, this is a known thing if you're low carb for a long time because you have a epigenetic change that changes what enzymes are being produced. Because if you're not eating carbs, your body doesn't need to process carbs. And therefore, if you're carnivore or very low carb and you do this test, it will come back looking as if you have diabetes. And in fact, this morning, I was reading in Dr. Michael Ead's Arrow newsletter about this very topic, and that he advises his patients, if you're going to do one of these glucose tolerance tests, and you've been keto a long time, you better eat some carbs in advance so that your body can begin to start producing the needed enzymes. He's like, but it doesn't happen instantly, but it happens pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So the whole point of this study was to say, well, if you eat low carb and this glucose intolerance persists, well, you'd have diabetes. Just eliding the fact that it doesn't persist because, we're humans and we have this complex microchemistry that can adapt to what food is available. The reporting on this is dishonest.
Well, plus, I mean, if you stay keto, does it really matter if you're showing signs of diabetes when you drink a bunch of sugar?
Well, yeah, because you don't ever do it.
You don't do it. So you're not having that health issue anyway.
So this one says, is keto worth the risk? A new study casts doubt on its safety. And it says this insulin resistance is not necessarily a bad thing if people are following a ketogenic diet, but if these changes persist when people switch back to a higher carbohydrate diet, it could increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the long term, Gonzalez says, and Gonzalez knows this doesn't actually happen. Why does Gonzalez say this? It's because he doesn't want you to do this, which our friends at the Carnivore Bar posted. Freezer goals. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
It's even labeled porterhouse, rib steaks, T-bone, chuck roasts. I mean, that's a thing of beauty. Now. That's preparedness right there. we need to get on this.
We need to get on this.
I mean, that's a bunch of ground beef down there. Holy cow.
I did spend quite a bit at the store this morning, though. I got us a brisket. Now, unfortunately, this brisket, though, isn't that fatty, but it was what they had. So I'm going to try to do some sous videing or something of the brisket. I'm going to do something a little different than smoking it, though. We'll see. And what else did we get? We got, I got a chuck roast.
You just made that chuck chili.
I did.
That was so good.
And I got a rib roast. I got us a rib roast. I was talking about maybe adding that to our Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that would be good. Give me
I don't know yet.
To give me a choice.
Yeah.
So I don't have to eat the stuffing and the potatoes that are prepared for the other people. Guests. That's what they're called.
They're guests.
I knew there was a word for the other people, but I just couldn't bring it up. Okay. Let's see what comments are saying. I'm going to just one final thing about the politics. I really don't want to make our channel a politics channel. We actually want to make it a haven, a sanctuary, an escape from those types of things. Understanding that obviously health and diet and nutrition are going to be big topics under the new administration. And we just want to tiptoe around that because it just isn't where I want to occupy my mind during our time with you. Because it's on my mind all the rest of the time.
I am glad to see some of this in the national conversation, though, around health.
It needs to be.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased with that.
It's going to devolve into absolute chaos, and the truth will be the victim. All right. That's my prediction. Courtney says, JJ, I love that you're opening to tahini. It's so important to not be so dogmatic that you sabotage your own benefits on principle of not eating plant matter. I hope you feel amazing.
And, if I do this experiment, I will be really watching because I'm not looking to make things worse.
Well, of course not.
I'm not looking to make things worse. And we'll see. We'll see.
Oh. Natalie says, it's dietitian speak. And it really is. When the more of these articles that I read, they repeat certain phrases. They're like 3 or 4 word, like heart healthy fats. It used to be healthy whole grains. This whole plant-based whole foods. It's just it's like my soundboard here where I can press a button and it makes a sound. It just is an internal soundboard that you just press different buttons and they string the same phrases together over and over again.
Those pull string dolls and things,
yes.
Right?
And it skips the whole thinking and analysis part of the brain because it's just a groove that's worn in their tongue. And they've done no effort to actually scrutinize what they think they know. Because you have to encounter the people who are doing the exact opposite and having such amazing results. You have to be able to answer, how is that possible?
Well, and I can see you get your training. You don't necessarily look at all the research. You're a dietitian. You got your training. You don't look at all the research. But then the more this movement keeps coming up, the more you keep hearing about keto several years ago and now moving into more carnivore. I just would hope that at some point you would have some self-awareness and go, wait a minute, is this true? Like if you hear it once or twice, yeah, whatever. You still pull the string and say whole food, plant-based, whatever. But at some point it feels like there should be some reflection. And this is from the individual level, the dietitian, the nutrition, etc. I'm not even going to get into the corporate level, which is a whole different story. But I would hope that some dietitians and nutritionists would be like, wait a minute, this is not going away. People are talking about their MS being in remission. What is going on here?
They're lying. Just like they're lying about not getting sunburn. Mm-hmm. And just like they're lying about getting off their diabetes medicine, and just like they're lying about the reduction in brain fog, they have convinced themselves they feel good, and they actually don't. All right. Life After Carbs. Chris, I don't recognize that name. I'd hope that if you're new here, welcome. I started my health journey last January with intermittent fasting, not being fat adapted at the time. I'm sure I was fasting too much and getting a bit shaky. Now fat adapted, I don't fast much now.
Hey, Chris, I started with intermittent fasting as well. I came to my journey with IF and then was seeking a way to lower my insulin even more because I wasn't getting the results that I wanted with just IF. And that's how I shifted into carnivore. But I love hearing someone who's been on the same journey to a certain degree.
Bree says, yay for that chuck chili. I had to share it with my mom and BF as, I don't know if that's boyfriend or best friend, as sad to say my body is still reporting inflammation from the veg, tomatoes, garlic. I think it's both. Dang it.
Yeah.
But it's tasty. Yeah, that's not one I can have frequently because, there's tomatoes in it. But it was nice because, it would have to be really low carb. But it was a very good fall, hearty comfort meal. And
I hope that at some point you can eat it again, Bree. Just like talking about Bella and Elizabeth Bright, and that hopefully someday you can buffer it every now and again.
JH, marketing hypnosis funded by the people that make the ambulance. That's right. I was thinking about the circularity of argument in a lot of the health field. And one of the ones is, there is now and going to be an enormous debate about fluoridation of water. Look at me. I'm just going right into what I didn't want to talk about. But I'm pretty open-minded for and against. I just need to understand the arguments. But the one thing that advocates of the fluoridation were saying, well, look, we can show these associational studies that, kids don't have as many cavities in areas with fluoridated water. And I go, well, maybe the problem isn't that they have fluoride deficient. Maybe they just need to eat way less sugar, like way fewer carbs.
Oh my gosh.
That is probably worse for their teeth than having less fluoride. So to me, it's just like, you're just arguing right past the whole point. The point isn't whether they should or shouldn't have fluoride. It's they shouldn't have the sugar.
So our daughter is going to be 21. So we missed this thing that's happened now where the kids have these they're processed little sacks of, I don't know what they're called because I don't have a kid, but they're little sacks of like fruit puree and stuff, so that you don't even have to like feed your kid the applesauce. It can just sort of suck on this. It's got a spit nozzle on it. A little nozzle that they can just sort of suck down their fruit puree or whatever.
It's like applesauce.
It's like, again, I haven't looked at it that closely, but I see kids with these little things in their mouth.
Like how old?
Like toddlers.
Oh, okay.
We're talking toddler age and babe, infants and toddlers mostly.
It's all heading us straight for the Wall-E world.
But,
and I mean Wall-E, not in vacation.
Wall-E.
Wall-E, yeah.
The robot. But I was at Target today and there was a refrigerated section at the end of the baby. There was a refrigerator at the end of the baby section that had those in there.
Oh, okay.
And again, I didn't look too closely at it. I just marveled at the fact there was a refrigerator in the baby clothing and diaper section where you could grab your kid this thing that it sucks on and gets the healthy fruit puree. There might be vegetables in it too. Again, I don't really know, but I don't think I would have ever, even though I did not feed my daughter a great proper human diet by any means, I don't think I would have ever gotten to that point where she was sucking on the fruit thing. I don't know.
I was just diagnosed with MS in August. I have declined the drug so far as I think Carnivore is helping it not get worse. I'm seeing the neurologist on Monday, so hopefully I can stay strong.
Oh.
We hope the best for you. And obviously we're not doctors. We can't offer any advice, but it seems like you're making a strong, educated decision and taking charge of the direction of your protocol.
And I think that's what's most important of all is that you feel you've researched what you can, you've tried what you can, and that you feel good about the decisions you make, whatever they may be.
JH, thanks for keeping the main thing. Well, that's what I try to do. It's a battle. Annette says, that freezer looks like mine. My half of beef will be here soon. I remember many, many years ago, one of your relatives, I think, was talking about buying half a cow.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of your uncles.
Yep.
And I remember at the time having no frame of reference for that and going, that seems really inconvenient. Because he was like, I got to get a freezer. I'm like, you need a huge freezer for that. Because I wasn't imagining it cut up. I was actually thinking, the carcasses that Rocky, practice boxing on. I'm thinking that he's getting half of one of those like in the back of his car. And I'm like, that seems like a really impractical. And he's like, yeah, but you save so much money. I'm like, well, you should. None of the work's been done. I was clueless.
Oh my gosh. This is not meant to insult you because I get it. But we bought when I was a kid living in Lyons.
Yeah.
We bought a half a cow or a quarter cow, and I did think the same thing, but I, at that time until it arrived and I was like, "Oh, I got it."
That's funny.
But that was I was exposed to that as a child, but I did think the same.
Annette's update. Oh, killer fillet attempt yet. Or is it no killer fillet attempt?
Well,
But I did find King Oscar brand salmon in a tint of olive oil, Mediterranean style, and lemon. That's yummy.
I bought you some more killers
So,
today.
so for those who need context, killers are kippers, canned smoked little fishes. And Annette had a famous typo in a message a month or so ago, and ever since then we've called them killers.
Yep.
And I actually had some killers recently, and they were delicious.
Yep. And I bought you more today.
I like them better than sardines. I don't know if they're as good for me as sardines.
I don't think they have the bones and all. I don't know if they have all the things that the sardines have.
Natalie says, I made gallons of applesauce for my kids. Also fluoridated the crap out of them. They did have much stronger teeth than I grew up with, though. Yeah. I think the big concern is if it's too much, in developing kids, it can reduce IQ some. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how well substantiated that is. And I know Dr. Berry says that fluoride competes for the same receptors as I just lost my mind.
It's something with thyroid, I think, because I heard Dr. Bright talking about that too. But yeah.
What do you take to supplement? What's the supplement? Iodine.
Oh, iodine. Yes, that's it.
So clearly Carnivore is not helping my cognitive decline. I need to get those ketones way higher because I should have remembered that word. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Natalie, you're not alone.
No.
I did not make gallons of applesauce, but it certainly was on the menu along with the rice. And like I said, she was my baby. At least she didn't have a lot of fat. It was a low fat diet, but holy cow.
If you're enjoying this, please give us a thumbs up. And I do mean give. It's a gift. We obviously can't demand that you do it. It does help the algo and it helps the channel. And subscribe. And if you haven't seen it, our last video was on Wednesday, was basically a big list of why people might want to try carnivore and all the benefits they get. It's basically, here's a bunch of benefits from carnivore. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't watched it, it's a great one. Again,
sort of bringing together the list of benefits. So we'd love to hear from you in the comments as well.
And we're sure we missed some. Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring up this video of Dr. Baker running. Hopefully this will work. Let's see.
There it is.
So there's the video. Is it playing for you guys? You shouldn't hear the audio. Let me see if we can get him fully on screen here. This is something he posted to X. Him doing sprints on the treadmill at 260 pounds and 57 years old. And his post said, fueled by 3 steaks. And this was really inspiring to me. I just did my first really full-on sprint session last week, maybe during the weekend or earlier this week, that I've done in a long time. I'd done some kind of light little, not full-out sprints, and I didn't get hurt this time. And I really, really kind of enjoy these workouts. I did not go that hard. I will eventually. I hope to.
No, you need to ease into it.
Yeah. Well, I think the point here is that you don't start here.
No.
You don't just one day say, hey, I'm going to go do this. Unless, if you're 18, maybe you can. But I'm 50. I'm going to be 54 in a few days. And you have to kind of ease into that a little bit. So, but yeah, it was very exciting to see. I'm like, well, I can do that I can do that, and I will. But what was interesting to me is the last time I was doing sprints was last year, actually, because I immediately hurt my hamstring doing it, was I felt really good during that first session. Like I was like, wow, all these endorphins, all this stuff is really great. But it was kind of hard. And I was also maybe 10, 12 pounds heavier then. And now that I'm that much lighter, holy cow, I move like the wind. I'm fast. and I'm light and I run like a gazelle. I was like, there's no way that I'm doing this. Like my foot impacts were like, I don't even know if I'm touching the ground because every pound is magnified by the striking into the pavement. So I was impressed with myself. So it was fun.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the wrong
camera.
So Natalie says, I'd be plastered against the back wall if I tried that on a treadmill. Oh, I just bought a rebounder to add to my exercise routine. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I got back into rebounding there for a while right before the move.
Yeah. And now the rebounder's out on the deck.
And I wasn't really doing workouts. I was just sort of doing what they call the health bounce, just because I felt like I needed to just move. Jake says, that was literally run from the cops speed. Which reminds me, when our daughter was very young, we went for a walk in the neighborhood. She was, I don't know, 4 or 5. And she saw this cop car coming. And what did she said? She said, hide, it's the cops.
We're like, where did she get that from?
Yeah, it's very surprising.
It's not something she's learned from us.
No. We didn't hide.
No.
There was no place to hide. It would have been pretty suspicious if we had.
With our 5-year-old.
So, if you think we should just change this channel over to pure politics all the time, let me know. We're not gonna, but if that's what you want, let me know.
You're gonna lose me on that one.
Yeah. If you want us to stay, tread lightly, let us know about that too, because that's pretty much what my plan is. But we have really nothing big coming up other than my birthday, which is on the 13th.
Yes.
So that's like 5 days.
Yeah.
And
steaks for your birthday.
It's going to be steaks for my birthday. Yeah. No cake. Steaks, no cakes.
Steaks, no cakes. Last year, though, was the first year we made altered plans. And I don't remember exactly what we did, but we didn't do cake last year either. Yeah. I still think we had a treat, but it wasn't a crazy treat.
Yeah, obviously it was a year ago. I'm not going to remember that.
Yeah. Well, I know because I'm the baker of cakes and
and there's no pictures of that in the photo album because no one ever takes pictures of me. I'm the one who takes the pictures.
I have pictures of you from every birthday.
So when I needed my before picture for my before and after,
but that's true.
Man, there was very few to pick from.
There were very few to pick from. I'm not a huge picture taker, period. But yeah.
How many pictures of Lucky do you have?
Oh, I do have some dog
It's all
pictures.
the dogs. It's all dogs. Pictures of dogs and kids from the play.
Well, that's kind of my job. That's one of my jobs with the play. We have dress rehearsal this weekend. We had, second dress rehearsal. First dress rehearsal was last weekend where we kind of just go, oh, what costume pieces are missing, what's not working with the costumes, etc. And then today or this weekend is like full hair and makeup, and I will be taking pictures this weekend. And that is what I do, is I take the dress rehearsal pictures. I'm one of those people who wants to make sure that every kid has a picture of them on stage. Like I work pretty hard to make sure that everyone gets a decent picture that we can post. And that they don't have like this past weekend where they were sticky with candy and their hair is going like Halloween candy and their hair is all of. Yeah, I wait till the.
Did they bring Halloween candy to rehearsal?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, they did.
I can't imagine. But they all brought their water bottles.
They bring their water bottles and we have a rule: no eating in costume or drinking anything but water in case there's a spill. And sure enough, one of the little girls was caught with contraband liquids. It was not water, and she had spilt it on her and her friend and the floor, and it was sticky mess everywhere.
We went to see a stand-up comedian.
We did.
2 days ago.
Crazy.
We went out at night.
Out at night to the big city.
To Milwaukee. We went downtown. We parked in a structure. We went to a venue where the Bucks play. They weren't there.
No.
And we saw Sebastian Maniscalco and a couple of opening guys whose names I don't remember, but they were quite funny. And I laughed.
It was good.
But he had a great bit about the kids with their water bottles that are full of mold because they're never washed.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
Yep.
Let's see here. Annette says, prefer to do speed work on my trainer bike. Yep.
Yep. And I haven't done that recently, but that's what I've done as well.
A bunch of birthday wishes. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Remington. Thank you, Bree. And Annette says, I still have pics of my border collie. He died in 2012. And memes. I have a lot of memes. I don't save memes. I chuckle at them though.
Well, and we took a lot of, here I'm trying to make an excuse. No, I took dog pictures anyway. But with my daughter in college, we took a lot of dog pictures to send to her as well.
Yeah. She gets homesick for the dog.
Yeah.
Remington says, wait, what? You went out in the dark?
I know.
It was weird. I don't drive at night hardly ever. And I was like, wow, my vision is terrible. It's not. I had LASIK many, many years ago, and it gave me severe bad halos around lights at night.
But you did not wear glasses for a long time.
Yeah, but eventually my eyes just gave up and said, no, you still need corrective lenses. But yeah, I do not like being out late. And by late, I mean after dark. I don't know what's happened to me.
Nothing.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I would say sometimes I have to remind myself that I knew this going into this relationship, that you told me before we were dating that your wife was going to have to show up at your door because you did not go out.
Oh, the person who I would eventually marry?
You would eventually marry would have to show up at your door. Turns out she did. But I was like, what are you talking? Like, how is this even possible? I can't believe it. But that said, so you've always stayed inside quite a bit, stayed at home.
Not inside. I like to go outside.
Yeah. You've always stayed at home quite a bit. But back in the day, we had to leave our house. I mean, you had to go to the mall if you wanted something.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to go to the bookstore and you had to go to the record store.
I missed that, going to the bookstore.
Yeah. So you did actually go out more when you were younger, but only because of that, I think. Yeah. Because things could not get mailed directly to you.
Amazon has basically made me a hermit.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and streaming.
It would have
because we used to go to movies.
Oh, that's true. Or to go get the tape. The video tape.
You had to go to Blockbuster.
You had to go to once we had a Blockbuster, that took a while. We had to go to the independent store first.
Yep. And then you'd watch the movie twice.
Yep. Yeah.
Good times.
But yeah, it was so funny. We were at this arena and we haven't been anywhere for a decade or more, really. And so we get there and we're like, oh, shoot, there's security. So Eric had a pocket knife he had to ditch.
Yeah, I always have my pocket knife.
Yeah.
I think this basically is what the man card is.
Yeah. And I rely on it.
This is your man card.
I'm like, do you have your knife? I need a knife.
And I was like, they're going to confiscate my man card. So I took it out and I stashed it in some weeds outside the venue. And it was there when I went back.
Yep. And I was carrying like a purse. And I was like, I'm not sure if I can get in with this purse because it's big. It's not a little fanny pack or whatever the regulations are. But they did not.
No, it wasn't an issue.
They did not worry about my purse. But I had to get in the purse line. But yeah, we didn't even think about it. It was just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But what surprised me was that the average age was about our age.
Yeah.
except for those 9-year-olds in the front row.
But the headliner was 51. So
Yeah. But I was like, why are these people all out away from home?
that's what he
Like, shouldn't they be in bed soon? I do. I need to be in bed now. And then last night, because we were up so late the night before, we were falling asleep at 8:30 in front of the TV.
We were both tired, but we were up late for the elections too.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were up late for that. So
now I can just get back to my normal sleeping patterns. And
yes.
Get back to real life.
Yeah.
Remington says, I had LASIK and also got halos. My husband laughs at me when I wear yellow glasses driving in the evening time. I can't stand the headlights. Seem too bright to me. It's like the world is a giant blurry Christmas tree in the city. But fortunately, my car does a lot of driving of itself with my supervision. And that made it a lot easier and somewhat less stressful. But on the way home in the past, when we were youths,
yes,
we would have stopped someplace for a food treat.
Yes.
And it just occurred. I was like, oh, well, this is the time where we would stop at Culver's or McDonald's or someplace.
Something.
We did not.
No, we did not. No food treats.
No, it's not worth it.
No.
Well, this has been a blast. Thank you guys so much. Get your Carnivore bar at carnivorebar.com and use JJ and Eric as a code for some percentage off. And subscribe, like us, tell your friends about us, share us on social media. Tell everybody, don't stop watching all the other Carnivore channels. It's JJ and Eric. That's where the info and the entertainment is, especially if you don't want to hear about politics. You have anything to say in closing?
I don't.
It's almost time for dunch.
It is. Yep. I've got some ribeyes, I think, waiting upstairs.
All right. I'm ready. I'm hungry. See you later.
Bye.